Hi everyone and welcome back to the IT Hub. In today's lesson, we're looking at the CAPE Unit 1 IT SBA and we're looking specifically at the analysis of the problem. All right, first thing I want to look at though is a general formatting of your document. For the SBA documents, you should have your line spacing at double. Easy way to do that, go to the Home tab, paragraph settings. And once the dialog box appears, you're going to change in the line spacing area, the line spacing to double, and we're going to set the before and after spacing to 0. We're also going to check the box that says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style, and then we're going to click OK. It is also very important, students, for APA styling that you set your margins to 1 inch all around. So I go to the page layout tab, margins, and then I select normal. Normal gives you 2.54 centimeters, which is the same thing as 1 inch. Now, if you already started your document, it is going to be important for you to use the Control A key combination, because if you have your cursor in a particular position on a particular page and you set your line spacing, it may only set the line spacing for that particular area. So what you will need to do is to highlight everything, and the Control A key, even though I don't have anything much on my screen now, will highlight everything that is in your document and set the line spacing to double. If you have a table that you do not want to set the line spacing to double but single, then you go back afterwards and change the table to single line spacing. Following me, guys? Yes, wonderful. All right, so as I promised, we're going to be looking at the analysis of the program. Remember, your main headings are centered. I just pressed Control E to center, align my cursor. You could have gone to the Home tab and selected center in the alignment area in the paragraph group. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type analysis of the problem. Also, since I have just typed something, your font style is supposed to be Times New Roman and your font size 12. I'm going to press Control A, and then I'm going to change the font size to 12. All right, guys, sorry about that. That's the blooper for the activity. Now we're going to go back to what we're talking about. So we're talking about the font size, and right now my font size is, well, I changed it before we had the blooper. So your font size should be 12, but we didn't get a chance to change the font style. So if you have a situation where your font style is not Times New Roman or something appropriate, then just press Control A on your keyboard. It will highlight everything, and you can go to the font group and change the font style to Times New Roman. Mine is not sure. Here it is. So I select Times New Roman, and that's the analysis of the problem. I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to move my cursor down by pressing Enter twice, Control L to bring it to the left, and we're going to talk a little bit about the analysis of the problem. Now, your analysis of the problem is going to be looking at the problem in your SBA with respect to 3 fact-finding techniques. Remember, you learned 4 fact-finding techniques. The 4 fact-finding techniques were what? Observation, interview, questionnaire, and review of documents. Excellent. All right. So remember, your analysis now is going to be based on your 3 fact-finding techniques that you use to collect your data. All right. What you can do, you can have an introductory paragraph, and I'm going to show you or give you an idea of what that introductory paragraph can look like. All right, here we go. So here I have just stated that I have used 3 fact-finding techniques, and I have listed those 3 fact-finding techniques. All right. So having done that, having told or said what you have used, then you can go ahead and start your analysis based on the 3 fact finding techniques. Now, students, remember, this is just a sample, and you don't have to use exactly the same words I use. Be creative. Use your own way to introduce your analysis of the program. All right, problem, sorry. All right. So I'm going to go to the next line. Now, you can choose whether or not you are going to use a fully block style or a semi-block style to write the format of your document. All right. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use a semi-block. So I'm going to indent my paragraph. All right. And so whenever I press enter, then I'm going to be going to a new paragraph. Now, since if you're going to be doing your analysis, you can either do it paragraph by paragraph without putting a heading, or you may choose to put a heading. So I'm going to show you with the heading, and I'm going to start off with, for example, a questionnaire. All right, so this is my questionnaire. I'm going to press enter to bring my paragraph into a new line. You know what, I think I'm going to just use fully blocked. I think it looks nicer. And I'm going to bring my line down, my cursor down into a new line. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about my questionnaire. So you can see how many questions were given out, who got the questions, and how many were collected, and over what period you gave out the questionnaire. Recording. Okay, so let's talk about the questionnaire now. So here we go. So we're stating how many questionnaires were handed out. So in this case, I handed out 15 questionnaires, and out of the 15 questionnaires, only 10 were returned or 10 were collected. All right. So you'll find that sometimes when you hand out questionnaires, not everything is collected, but you have to make sure that you record how many were handed out, who they were given to, and I'm going to include that in a short while, how many were collected, and the time period over which you gave the questionnaires for them to be completed. So say, for example, I gave 15 questionnaires to 15 employees who are responsible, or who were responsible for stock taking, for example, right? So obviously our system is going to be looking at stock taking. It is at this point now, students, that you are going to say what your findings were. All right. Say, for example, the findings were as follows. You can choose to use bullets, or you can choose to continue writing in a paragraph. I am going to use bullets for this one to make it easier to see. And if you're going to use the bullets, you don't have to appear in any particular order. However, if you're going to use numbering, then the logical order of the list, but the list must come in some logical order. Okay? All right. So the findings were as follows. The employees stated that on days when deliveries were made, only one person was responsible for accepting the delivery. However, based on what the supervisor stated when interviewed, there is a discrepancy. The supervisor, in his interview, mentioned that 2 persons were responsible for receiving deliveries. One person for checking that the correct items were delivered, and a second person who would check the quality of the items. So right here we are comparing, we will state what we got as a response in the questionnaire, but then we are also making mention of what we were told by the supervisor. So clearly there's an issue with regards to how stock is received. And perhaps that is one of the reasons why they are having a serious challenge in this particular company or business, keeping proper record of stock, because one, the employee said that one person was responsible for receiving the goods. However, the supervisor is saying that two persons are responsible for receiving the goods. So clearly there's some miscommunication taking place, and what was supposed to happen when deliveries are made is not actually happening. So based on what I just stated, I remember saying this is just one point. There are several other things that will come out of your analysis of the different fact-finding techniques, because you could probably say, based on the review of documents, you notice that only one signature was obvious, and I'm going to just put that there. From the review of documents, it was noted that only one signature was present on the delivery slip, whereas two should be present based on the interview with the supervisor. It can therefore be concluded that this perhaps is the main reason why there are issues with inventory. All right. So students, if you notice that I have entered a concluding statement here based on what I have pointed out here. Now, your concluding statement will not come after one point. I am just demonstrating it here because I'm not going to show you more than one point. What you can do at the end of your questionnaire, you can write what your concluding statement is, to say, okay, these are our findings, and based on the findings, this is what I'm going to be concluding based on the problem statement. So your conclusions are going to be based on what you had mentioned in your problem statement, to say what could be possibly causing the business to lose money or causing the business not to be able to keep correct record of inventory. All right. You could also choose, having analyzed the problem using the 3 fact-finding techniques, to do a final paragraph to say what your conclusions are. So you don't have to conclude that at the end of every fact-finding technique. You could choose at the end to do your conclusions at the end of the 3, because the truth is that you may, after having analyzed all 3, come to the same sort of conclusions at the end of each, and it doesn't make any sense to repeat yourself. All right. So at this point, I'm going to end this session, and I hope that you have understood a little bit better on how to do your analysis of the problem.